Thank you for joining me. Hope you're doing well. We have our Saturday footage to go over from yesterday. So let's hop right in. Good to see Amy back, calling out Jordan. Not that she went anywhere, I just don't think I've seen her in a live role for a minute. Good to see her there. Luke with a quick back take. I want to keep an eye on Luke's takedowns today. A little arm drag. Looks like him and John are getting loose. Cooper over there tooling me up. And then Austin in the Pop-Tart rash guard with Emre. Little 2-on-1 Uchimata to get Cooper down. I think Luke and John are taking a slow pace right now. Looks like a little flowy action. Meanwhile, Carlos going up against James over here. James taking a seat, dealing with his neck. Notice how he shuts down Carlos's open guard passing, right? This standing versus seated opponent. There's one thing that I really want to point out here. Carlos is using kind of a leg drag-ish approach. He's got that left leg of James, like a 2-on-1 grip on it. He goes to flank it, and James just frames on him. And watch James's hips. Just scoot back a little bit, and that's all he needed, right? That's such a fundamental part of guard retention that I think goes overlooked. And when you really start to focus on that hip movement, creating the space, and then, letting your legs come back in, your guard retention can significantly level up. Did we start early? No, you got here late. We don't start when you get here. We start when I say so, Jordan. And then James follows up with his own open guard action himself. Pulls into a leg, kinda. Carlos sits. James stands. Wrestle up from Carlos, or an attempt to. Almost comes up on a double. Still looking to flank. James is able to weave those legs in and stay safe. Rolling Komura back take. Little half guard pass on Luke. Setting up the rear crucifix. What's up, Espionage? How you be? What happened over there with Cooper? Anything fun? I was trying some Eddie Cummings leg lock stuff I saw. I couldn't quite make work, and then Cooper taps early. Oh God, dude, I led our 1 hour open mat that ended early, and all I want to do is like get into a bath. 4 hours is insane. John really getting flippy. What's up with Emre and Austin over here? Amy getting caught with the Americana. Look at here. She's getting mauled. At an open house. Hey, that's awesome. Now it makes more sense. Dude, those weekends are just like the absolute best. Where you just find, yeah, Max, get out of the way. You just find that extra little bit of time that like you never have, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna completely spend this on something I love, even if it breaks my body. I do anything for 4 hours and I'm toasted. Any movie over 2 hours is a no-go for me. So watching 2 2-hour movies, I would rather do so many other things than that. What am I missing? Austin up into a triangle. Okay. Emre, I saw you, or I felt you work in the your triangle escape earlier against me, that seated triangle escape. It's like Austin's pretty quick on that setup. And again, we saw him do this last stream. He sets his legs up and then he immediately controls that arm that's in. Right here, he gets, as soon as that arm comes out, see, he puts his hand right on the tricep, tries to prevent you from hiding it again, and then looks to go on to the finish, takes it to the mount. Dude, I don't watch movies anymore. Like, I haven't been to the theaters in forever. Mostly because I could not care less about watching a movie over 2 hours. Anything is just... Yeah, it's the free OnlyFans. So Emre, you were saying you want to, you're thinking about working on your stand-up. John might be one of the best training partners for you to work with and ask questions to, because he should be a black belt in judo. He was like supposed to test for it or whatever, and I think he ended up moving. So he's a brown belt, but he's like really freaking good, and he's about your size, right? So he'd be a good one to like maybe start dialing in some of the things you want to learn, right? Think about, like I said earlier, think about the things that you tend to do, like if you like single legs or whatever. Start talking to John. He also, he knows how to wrestle. He trained MMA. He's good in the stand-up. Back on that cross ashi stuff I was trying to work here. Oh, we got Mike, meanwhile, joining us. Always love when Mike comes by. DEI underwear brand. Yeah, he's the kind of guy who will train with you, match your speed, match your level. He's not just gonna like thrash you because he's good at judo. But if he does something cool that you like, just pause it and be like, all right, what was that? How do you do that? Austin did a great job denying me what I really wanted in this cross ashi. Again, I'm being very myopic about what I'm trying to do because I was trying to set up a specific move. There may have been a couple other opportunities to attack a heel hook, but because I was working on one thing in particular, I didn't really take those opportunities. Regardless, Austin's defense is good anyway in the leg lock, so shut me down with a lot of leg pummeling and hand fighting and motion. What's up, Ben? What's up, James? The handicapped guy? Not yet. Or yeah, there you are. Oh yeah, and you're tied up.
Huge honor for
thank
me.
you for the resub, bro. Much appreciated. Let's see what Maximus is up to. Look at here, Max on looks like an ankle pick or something. Mitchell and James in the middle too. Mitchell tried to murder me today. Little hook sweep, butterfly sweep or whatever from Jordan. Gets Max to his hip. Max was trying to put into practice some fundamental training. I was proud of him for the efforts. Fundamental training. Is that like anything? What do you mean, Jordan? Like, what do you mean he was trying to put into practice some fundamental stuff? What would you... Proud of him for the efforts. The longer I look at your messages, the more typos I see. Just moves? Okay, cool. Love that. It looks like he tried to sit back on an armbar there, but didn't really have the control on it. So I appreciate trying to get the leg over the face and prioritizing that leg. You don't have to get the leg over the body on an armbar. A lot of guys will do it. Like those spin around arm bars, you can kind of get your body side leg caught, but your knee's going to be pointed up and your shin will kind of be against the ribs. But here, Jordan essentially just splits the legs and there's no significant isolation on the arm. If you can, try to get both legs over. It looks like he's thinking about a leg attack, but maybe not quite sure where to go with it. Turn your caps lock off, dude. You got through that whole sentence. And then for some reason capitalized calling me an ass. As if you're yelling it at me. James is looking for possibly an Americana, but a variation on one. Maybe just controlling Mitchell's arm here. So you can see from this kind of north-south position right there. I don't know if you'd really... I mean, it makes me think Americana, but yeah, James doesn't seem like he's hunting down a grip on it. Possibly looking for side triangle. Possibly about to fart in Mitchell's face. And Luke coming here on a cross ashi at the side of your screen. See if he would turn the wrong way, but he didn't. Got you. Slamming him down onto his back. There we go. Let's see this again. So set up for the back take. Looking for the chair sit. Good leg positioning. Yeah, as Mitchell... Yeah, he just kind of... I don't know. This one's tough. I feel like he's gonna have a hard time escaping. Like, you've got your legs dug in really well, blocking the body. So that rolling escape would be a little difficult. Looked like you just had everything under control. The dreaded gas chamber technique. It was briefly considered right there. I think there's some serious potential there, but James was merciful. Oh yeah, man. Oh shit. Yeah, I think if people utilize that leg curl more, James, they'd have better success with their triangles, with their arm bars. Triangle or arm bars especially. I feel like that's something I often point out when we're going around during drilling and people are working that. It's like they get the leg over the head from like an arm bar where they're on their back and their opponent's like on their knees or on their feet. And their legs are just straight instead of like really digging down, trying to get the heel behind the head, the knee above the ear, all those little markers. Luke calling me out, and right there, he's looking for. He told me this later. He was looking for the kind of foot sweep trip to the go behind that Luke Griffith, I think, used on Victor Hugo recently. So, bit of an arm drag setup. I'm gonna have to play with this too, since I'm doing arm drags all the time. So arm drag, trying to get me stepping and blocking the step. Sophie joining. Trying to break Ben in half. Almost with the go behind. Notice for takedown stuff, and you know, Emre, you could kind of take note of this too. Like, Luke's really leading a lot with that arm, right? So right there, leading up again. Right now, I'm already thinking like, all right, maybe I could time a go behind, like a good duck under rather. So there, he's up again with the collar tie. Here he engages and I go. So he kind of led me towards that by just, you know, showing a constant reach on the collar tie, collar tie, collar tie. I swatted away, whatever. Just picking up those tendencies can help you in choosing a takedown, a setup, and all that stuff. So if you can start looking for some of those patterns in your opponent's movement, that can go a long way towards a successful takedown and not wasting a bunch of energy. There I go on my own arm drag. And again, this is from that position where I've basically given up head position almost. I guess we're 50-50. We're ear to ear here. I don't mind when people get to a more flanked position, like if we were here and I was initiating the arm drag. You know, in this freeze frame, Luke kind of has superior head position, but it lends itself to a successful arm drag for me instead of him if I don't hang out there too long and lose my opportunity. So again, for that arm drag, I'm looking for, you know, either I have his wrist under control or he has mine, but it's low. I want to close the distance, so I'm either forehead to forehead, I'm ear to ear, whatever. All the boxes are checking now. I pull around. I really still have a grip on this arm, and I'm trying to get my hand to the waist, chase him down. I even tried to pick him up here at one point. I was like, I wonder if I can. It's like, nah, I can't. What's Sophie doing? All right, so Ben on a leg, and Ben with the belt. Clearly, the belt showing now. He's handicapping himself. Sophie's like, cool. This makes a perfect hoop for my underhook. So here, Emre, I want you to pay attention to what's going on as you're trying to pass, right? So it might be a little difficult to pull yourself out of this by now, like once you get in, but James is really focusing on that right arm of yours. So right there, he wrist rolls. Looks like he passes it off to his right hand. He's got your wrist, probably your tricep as well, under control. So he's 2-on-1. That means now you have no base in this direction. Like this early, James hasn't even gotten you off balance yet, but that's what he's thinking. He's controlling that arm, and he's about to take you in that direction. So when you start to feel that, that's an opportunity for you to recognize where you're in danger, right? Where you're vulnerable. So here he's starting to get the setup. your hips are over his. He's pretty much just gonna take you where he wants to go at this point. Very good. Not gonna be long before she's stringing one. Oh yeah. I mean, her stand-up's already like really good, and she has a good vocabulary of jiu-jitsu. She's not coming in, as a blank slate, so she'll be messing up a lot of us. Her transitions from Katakatame to back are really excellent. She just knows how to move without creating too much space. I'll show up tonight to watch my takedown on Mitchell. Where did that happen? And that's so mean. I don't want you to leave. Let's see what your grip is here. So we've got a little clinch action. I'm curious what your other arm is doing. You pop up like you just won ADCC. So you've got like a shallow underhook, it looks like, into the kind of a pinch headlock. Pummel in. Looks like you're still double clinch. Yeah, and then just kind of head throwing them. Oh, baseball bat. So you had like your inverted S grip or whatever. Nice. I always forget about that. And then either you do something like that or Steven comes back and tries to strangle me with it. Wrestlers over there. Who do we got? We got Carlos. We got Maximus. Carlos diving on a single leg, digging it out. Very nice takedown. Also, John and Michael. Coop going on his leg attack. And yeah, again, as always, if I'm missing stuff, please let me know. James on a Kimura. Similar, this looks like what he was trying to do with Mitchell earlier. It's in that like dorsal position. It's the easy Kimura. I'm taking a second to just keep Luke in close guard. Waste a little bit of time. Get a little bit of energy back. Cooper with the 100%er grip. Looking for the sweep. Man, what I like about this grip is how miserable it is for your opponent. Like, everybody turns with this. I don't know. I don't have an answer for how to address this. If you've gone this far, you're screwed. Just give up the sweep. But when you get there, Cooper, if you're in the chat, keep in mind you unlock your grip and you're immediately on a very deep guillotine. If you just swim that arm around the neck, like, you can't get any deeper on a guillotine. Right here, that free hand could swim around and set in a good guillotine on Austin. And I mean, look where his hand is. Look where the defensive hand is out here. Like, it's not close to a defensive spot. Luke really starting to wear me down here. This is only 3 rounds in. Looking for a tripod sweep, which I'm sure he knows. James working some open guard, seated open guard, leg disruption, keeping Emery stepping. see this guard pass from Luke. Oh, yeah, I had my legs in a stupid configuration. Not really worth looking at. Basically an outside Ashi with zero possible threat on him. Quick triangle. Yeah, okay. Carlos over there talking ankle picks. Nice. Almost had a foot sweep on Luke. He comes up to me like in 2 more rounds. There's like, want to go a little harder this time? I was like, yeah, okay. It's already going 100%, but yeah, sure, okay. Danny just hanging out. Gotta let that elbow heal up so we can start kicking our asses again. So me and Ben have a handicap match. I try to not use my left arm the entire match here pretty soon. I think I realize. With you and John. Oh, you guys are already all over the place. Tripod action. Okay. Let's slow it down. Let's all just relax. All right. So, John is rolling through. He's got those legs kind of hooked together. You're kind of attached to his legs too. Caught him at a good time. That arm extended. Looking for your arm drag. Keep an eye on Cooper and Max over there too. That should be a good round. Oh. Max taking a page out of Luke's book. Luke really likes that arm drag trip. So Max sets that up. Lowers his level. Trips Cooper. Can you get up on the back? Nope. Cooper turns in time. Gets his guard in. So yeah, now I'm not using my left arm at all. James on little attack, leg attack to a pass. Maybe threatening like an Estima or straight ankle or something. As soon as he can flank John's leg, starts to pressure in for the guard pass. How about Mike and Carlos? So Carlos goes looking here. Maybe try to take a shot or something, maybe slip. Mike sees an opportunity to try to go behind. Almost has an Asotogari set up. And Carlos reacts with a sacrifice. He's got this, I think, like a double underhook position. Pulls down Mike by that arm, that right arm. Rolls through on it. And Mike settling into a triangle now. Okay. Looks like Carlos taking the L on that one. That was some good wrestling right up until the triangle. That was nice. Meanwhile, James, what are you doing? What are you doing? It really seems like John can get out of just about any position. Like he just finds an escape out the back so easily every time he and I roll. Ben gets me in a 5-finger here, and it really sucked, especially not being able to like defend. The only thing I do with that left arm is tap. I think if I could have framed your hip spin, I you know, would have been different. I would have been able to like redirect you a bit. And I'm like, oh, I can't do anything here. This sucks. That's a very tight 5-finger. Yeah, he's ridiculously hard to control. We had a pretty fun stand-up round. Cooper chasing the back down, but Max rolling him off. Cooper didn't have any legs entangled. Or hooked in or whatever. Shouldn't say entangled. Let's look at this arm bar. Just went through a few different rolls here. So, actually, hell. Even getting to Ben's back with just the one arm was quite a challenge. So climbing up to a secure chair sit position. Ben really disrupts it though by grabbing my foot and taking the hook out. So since Ben has gotten off to enough of an angle to disrupt my back take, Scarecrow had better play. You're not wrong. I won't disagree with you. Ben completely disrupts my ability to like strangle and take the back here. So he starts getting out to the side. So that's where I think, all right, let me get with my right arm, get my underhook on his right arm, and then transition into the arm bar. Let's see if I can make use of that, right? So he starts to bend down. As soon as my leg comes over, he leans forward. So we're gonna have to roll through this, and I just had to keep a one arm grip on his one arm. The benefit is though he can't grip his arms together. I don't necessarily need 2-on-1 to control that or to like fight against that. So yeah. You and I both, man. I kept falling forward through those positions, especially in like the first minute or two as I was getting used to it. Max looking offensive here. Oh, Cooper gets out. We got Mike seated against Carlos with the round expiring. See, did we get anything else from John and James? That looked a little active at the end there. See, John has a sit out, maybe? Yeah, hell of a sit out. Oh, just about comes out the side, but James is able to shut it down. Scrambles back to Turtle. Leg. James hits the turn. All right. Yeah, that was a good round. Long term probably gonna have to adjust. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What the hell happened there? Oh yeah. Goes to foot sweep me, and I just step out of the way enough, but he really, really, like, committed to it. Ends up sweeping himself down, but keeps rolling, stays safe, and I can do nothing with it. Got Emre and Jordan. Emre on a single leg. And yeah, man, I feel like this might be your takedown to play with for a little while, which is a great one to start with, right? Working on your single legs. You've got this entrance you do. You kind of pull the arms up, lower your level. You're walking forward. There are going to be some immediate things you can work on, like not hinging at your hips. You're kind of shooting in. We could talk penetration steps next time I see you, but that would be a good thing to work on, especially like solo. You don't need a partner to work on those. But it's a way to, to change levels, cover distance quickly, and get to your opponent's hips in a way that like you can then control once you get the leg out of that. So, I'll show you what that looks like. We don't need to describe it here, but as you go on here, right, you're really bent over at the hips, like you're looking down at the mat, your back is rounded, your legs are straight. That can happen, but if you watch like good wrestlers, they're not really working from positions like this as they're looking for the finish on a single leg, right? They've again, we'll talk more about it in person, just because I could go on a rant for the rest of the stream. But I find you looking for single legs on me. I see you doing it against other people, so that could be a good place for you to focus your stand-up progress for a little while. John with the Haragoshi, but I think I slipped out. It's the only thing I can do that actually moves people. Yeah, that's fair. But you do that, and you have to learn, like, you're getting to the single leg. Oh, so glad I survived that. John probably could have really made me fly there. Before I go too far, I'll finish my thought. You're getting to the single leg. You need to work on finishing, right? Like how to keep them off balance, how to get that other leg out from underneath them. That could look like running the pipe, the classic single leg finish. It could look like tree topping them, where you lift the leg up real high. It could also look like transitioning to the back, transitioning to a double leg. There are so many different things you could do after you pick that leg up. So when you get in that position you were with Jordan, where you've just kind of stalled out and your posture's broken down, that's what we want to avoid. So you move like you're mobile, you take a lot of steps, you're looking to like feint and all this stuff that works. You can keep improving that. You're just going to like hone all this down onto making a good effective single leg. So here, trying to hit a sit out, but really, I mean, this is shit now that I'm looking at it. I'm really just turning my body. What I need to do, what I should be doing better, is kicking this leg this way, like actually sitting, rather than just elbowing John in the armpit and getting him off balance. I mean, I really sent that one, and I'm almost like completely turned around. But I think I could help myself a little bit better if I actually did the move properly. Yeah, my leg never even like slides forward, so I don't make any real progress towards the back. I do end up in a leg entanglement, so whatever, but you're putting on a little bit of torque on the leg, but not enough to really be dangerous. Notice how I'm really trying to keep a bend in the leg. That's going to make it difficult for John to extract the leg while I kind of get set in a better control position. Got James working butterfly guard, or working in the butterfly guard rather. Looks like John pulled me over him. Couldn't quite control that position. Nor could I. Oh, we got Sophie and Carlos over here. Did I have a body lock on him? I did. Shoot him for the body lock. It's a little like outside trip. Such a dangerous position to work against him though. Like he'll send me if I play with that too much. That was an interesting turn of events. So John and I both went for something at the same time. So he can hit a really good Uchimata or a Haragoshi here. I'm looking to pull with my tight waist grip, step this leg across, pull the hip towards me. I go for it at the same time he goes Haragoshi. So I'm starting to pull him backwards as he's set this up, and I'm kind of falling towards my butt. So I got very lucky here, and that I kind of came out on top of that exchange. I don't think I did anything with it anyway, but that was a very lucky moment because he was about to send me. Emery, what are you doing over there? Looks like you're maybe thinking Darce or working a Darce or some sort of strangle. Might be more Anaconda the way you had that gripped up. Try the Darce. Good. Here I'm setting up a cross Ashi. I need to get John rolling though. Forward preferably, which is what I set up there. That's pretty tight. I think I tell him here, like, I don't want to take it any further. For this, so John has kind of stuffed me at this point with like getting to the position I want to get to, like prior to this. So you see me make an adjustment where it's not enough for me to be on my side. I need to get my ass like up in the air, kind of loading up a bit of potential energy to send myself this way and send him, since we're attached at this point. I'm trying to pull his hips towards me before I do that, just to close all my distance. And I think I take this arm and put it in the armpit and use it as a cross shoulder post to get him moving. Ish. Maybe if I had done that better, it would have been a little more clean. But now it sets me up for cross Ashi for the inside heel hook. James putting the hurting on Mike over there. In memory of Cole. Yeah. That's right, man. We haven't seen Cole forcibly put somebody in their stomach and strangle them in a minute. Huh. I like this from Carlos. So he's got... Sophie has the collar tie. He doesn't quite go over tie. He just goes inside the shoulder here. Looks for the slide by. But then follows it up instead. He like kind of half-asses a slide by to go for this trip instead. Steps behind, drives through. I like that. Especially because my slide bys are pretty terrible. So it's like if I could do half of one, but then set up a trip. That's nice. Need to write that down. Oh yeah, God, Luke calls me out again and just tries to beat the tar out of me. All right. What do we got? Mitchell trying to get those knees together on Austin to look for the pass. Sophie shooting, maybe-ish. I don't know what happened. James is kind of weighing it down. James, I heard you tried to banana split her or something. So I tried 3 different times in my roll with her later to hit a banana split. And she shut it down. She had really good leg movement. Like, she just pointed her knee, like, perfectly in the right direction. Or, like, grabbed her own foot and, like, wouldn't let me extend the leg. And I couldn't get the grip that I wanted. What did Austin do here? All right, just powering up with a good sit up. Austin got those abs, just rolling Mitchell through. I don't know why Mitchell let that go. He had a good reap. He had heel exposure. He's just too nice. Jordan with the big strangle on Coop. So Katagatame set up. He's across the body, though. I've been trying to get to this position inside control. After, I think we talked about it on stream like a month ago, where you set up the Katagatame from the far side and then make your way over. Looks really tight and terrible. John with a big Haragoshi. So this is what he would have done to me. This is great. This is a fantastic example to look at. So, yeah, that's what I thought. Let's look at John's grip here. So looking here, Max goes underhook, like a shallow near side underhook. John just wraps it up with a good overhook. This is not a whizzer or anything. This is just an overhook. But he has this arm over the head as well. So kind of I mean, this isn't a headlock. I mean, maybe you could call it like some headlock variation. But he's got Max kind of bent over now. Gets that leg to the outside. This is great. This blocks the leg. It doesn't necessarily sweep out just yet. All the action of this comes from this grip up here, pulling Max in this direction. Then the sweep comes. And like, this was the epiphany I had with this move and why it didn't work for me for years until just recently. It's because I was putting way too much thought into like this leg doing the work as opposed to the upper body starting the throw, right? Doing the initial work to get the throw going. And when it works, it looks awesome. Let's watch it one more time without me pausing all the time. Very nice. They even take a second just to bask in the glory of a good judo throw. Compression choke from big guy. That was miserable. Coop in top half guard, laying on some shoulder pressure. Look at that muscular definition there. That's what I'm talking about. Coop getting shredded. Austin with straight ankle? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mitchell looking for the leg lock offense, but just leaving his own legs kind of dangling in the wind. Sophie on the arm bar. Looks like James starting to slip that arm out. Mitchell goes for the Kimura from bottom side control. Austin is unfazed. He tries to get him flattened out on the back and look for his pass. And there it is. Big step over, going for the arm bar. We'll call it a Brazil tap there from Mitchell. Alright. He was just trying to grab for his arm. That's fine. This is nice work from Austin. Not a traditional armbar, right? Because he doesn't have that cross-facing leg. It's kind of behind, but he's got control over the shoulder and the head. So the arm isolation is good enough. He gets a good tap. That's a nice one. James on a slow armbar. All those hamstring curls getting put to work here. Keeping Sophie broken down. She couldn't posture up against that leg, which is key as he redirects the submission to a more traditional opponent on their back sort of position. Luke crushing my nose with his sternum. Trying to hit me with the anaconda roll. Moving to a crossbody ride, just about. Meanwhile, Sophie makes her way to the back. About Max. Okay, they're just relocating. So kind of slipping off the side. James is starting to escape. Good awareness from James. Gets both arms under the leg. Not just one, because he could have been triangled, but both arms under the leg. Scoops that up and manages to go out the back. What's that? Oh, little straight ankle. And with 5 seconds left, looking to take Luke's back. Punish him for what he did to me. So yeah, Emery, some of your footwork needs to be kind of tightened up too. Just with, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like your legs kind of cross up a little bit here and there, like right there. Right, that's not a safe way to walk. And we can talk about that more. I don't know if you've ever done any boxing or anything like that, but there's kind of a safe way to walk. You know, forward, backwards, side to side, and it doesn't involve your legs ever getting crossed up. Every white belt got a straight ankle to take. So generous, man. Like the Oprah of straight ankles. How did I have that grip? Okay. Jordan looking to shoot, maybe. So yeah, Emery, next time I see you, if you want to talk details, I think it was footwork, it was maybe single leg finishes, and then something else. I already forgot. That's why you can go back and rewatch the stream. Luke again, arm drag trip, kind of gets Jordan. I feel like Jordan, I don't know, it wasn't as clean as I'm sure Luke would have liked it to be. Oh, penetration steps too, yeah. Don't let me forget all that stuff. And then you were like, what the hell kind of triangle was that? So this is a wrong way triangle. I hope you've seen enough triangles now to see the difference. So you have one arm in and your head in, but I'm applying my strangle leg, the one that normally crosses behind the neck. I'm applying that under the arm instead of behind your neck. So it's like a regular triangle, but I've just switched which legs are doing what, and I'm really on an angle here, almost to a north-south position, almost up on my shoulders, hips driving into one side of your neck, your arm driving into the other. Oh man, Carlos and John all the way over there. I wish these guys would come to the center. Do I hog the center too much? I just want footage. North-south Katagatame from Luke. It's that arm trapped. I think that's what that was. Working top side control. Ben with some quick movement to get up. Okay, what was that? So John and Carlos over here under the TV. See, this is what I was afraid of when I got the body lock on John. That was nice. Yeah, man. Oh, John looks for the arm throw. Looking for Seonagi. Gets Carlos down. Ends up out the side. Carlos with the overhook kind of throws him over. Not throw, but this is nice. John gets his legs in, keeps Carlos elevated so he can't settle in. Nice. And they end neutral. So I'm looking to isolate Emery's left arm. Slips out. How did that happen? Got John and Carlos again. Looking here. Oh, Carlos was his own attempt on the Seonagi or arm throw. But this is the danger of it in no-gi is the back exposure, right? So let's see what John's position is here as this happens. So looks like Carlos tries to hit it as John starts standing. Like he kind of slipped. Like, oh, John was thinking, duck under or, slide by or something. He starts standing, and great reaction from Carlos to immediately hit something in that little bit of time before John is able to really, set his footing. But the problem is with the arm throw, you give up back exposure. And if you don't get your opponent moving, you're settled in on this. So if I'm going to hit these Seonagis, I prefer to do it not against a, an upright opponent or opponent coming out of the stance. I would prefer to do it, hell, even like right here. If I've got my opponent pushing towards me, feet head out in front of the feet, they're going to tend to keep falling forward. Or, just put a gi on and we could do it there. But yeah, that I feel like that requires a little bit better of a setup than what Carlos had. Now, alternatively, he could do an arm spin and kind of go out the side and just wrap John's upper body up by the arm and get him down that way. Commonly used by wrestlers when they come over to jiu-jitsu. I've been thrown very hard with that from very good wrestlers. Jordan, you get smothered, bud? Yes, you did. Yerp. What else? What else is happening? Max looking to set up a triangle. Nope. Posture's out of that. John trying to end it with the overhook Haragoshi. Gets the off balancing, and this is what John really does best with this move, is he'll come around to the front headlock position. So running out of time before he sets it up, but that's a common thing. Get that trip off the Uchimata or the Haragoshi, and then run, when they don't go all the way down, run around the front and lock in the front headlock. All right, Sophie and Jordan. Big roll. Jordan sweep. James and Max. James with the quick arm drag. Max goes into the spin cycle with him. I might pick on your arm drag, James. Let's see. Yeah, this is how I used to do it a lot too, with similar results, right? Setting the arm drag up from out here. Like, look where, look how much space is between the two of you. It was never something I considered until I, ripped off ideas from John Danaher's arm drag instructional. But getting at least head to head, make that the furthest you're willing to try an arm drag from. Anything further than that, any more space in that, don't even bother with it. It can work if you're, maybe really powerful and you just rip him by, or if he doesn't know what he's doing. Max has been wrestling, so he's got good reactions to this stuff now. But try that. Try to get at least head to head, if not closer, and see what that does for your arm drags, because it made a huge difference for me. And let me check one other thing, just because. It makes all the difference, man. And then the other thing here, it looks like I'm seeing a break in that grip, right? James's hand comes off the wrist. So Max is able to re-drag. Max's hand is free to then grab James's tricep and almost hit a re-drag on him, but they just kind of zero each other out here. Next time I see you, James, let's talk arm drags, because I'll show you a few other little pointers that made a huge difference for me. And it was what I was putting to work against Luke earlier, and what I've done with everybody lately. And it's, I don't know, I just had to like rethink how I approached them, and suddenly they became much more successful. And that was after months, if not years, of thinking I knew how to do them well and failing at them more often than not. Oh man, they're back at it again, huh? Alright, what? This was cool. So shoot on a single. Reshot on the come up. Gets this body lock grip over under. And how does John react to that? With that outside trip. So he goes, watch, John will take a step around Carlos's right side, weave his leg around the back. He's just knee blocking and then sending Carlos over that knee. Carlos tries to get him up and over. Really nice. Dude, 100%. If I see them training together, and I'm in the middle, I will cede all square footage of the center to them. Notice John never does things one at a time. He always goes for at least 2 moves, which is why he's so successful, or one of the reasons. Sophie on a very tight Katagatame here. Jordan rolls up out of it, but she could chase down the back from here if she gets that knee in. I know she's been working on that. Nice. Nice pass from Jordan. Almost slick from Carlos. So let's look at this. He's got kind of an over tie. Goes to the Russian tie, 2-on-1. And then I like this step. Tries to get the leg, but John is able to keep him at bay with that forearm that he has in. This is doing all the work for John on the defensive side. And this was a really solid attempt from Carlos. Gets a hand on the leg. Wonder if you can run to a cutback from here. Connect his hands. That's a tough spot to dig out of. Doesn't let John run to the back. Gets up. Faces him. Jordan being a real jerk. Doing a Katagatame now. She was just caught in. So Sophie's trying to utilize that leg to pull the arm down. This arm has to be around the outside, though. Think about connecting your arms with your leg up through the middle and then pulling your leg down with that. Rather than just, it looks like Sophie just kind of like takes a little claw grip inside her own knee. Also, not a sure thing to get out of that. Like, it might give you a little bit of time, but it will not shut down a very tight Katagatame. So John with this overhook. Carlos stepping in a little close. Now Carlos with the underhook. Over back grip. Oh, man. That was a nice try. He really likes these inside trips. And again, I think a lot of wrestlers do. And they're great. We did that. I think that was part of the takedown from Saturday. So has John's posture kind of broken down. A little stutter step in. Deep step through. That's Ouchi, or no, yeah, something. Sotogari, Osotogari, Ouchi. I think that's an Ouchigari. Chasing it down, and then with the redirection in the other way, I wish this would have worked. That would have looked so sick. Because now John's kind of like trying to slow Carlos down, which means he's applying some pressure in this direction. So Carlos tries to keep it going. John just had a good base on that. Nice thinking from Carlos. Exactly. Nice. Yeah, dismount from Sophie right into north-south. Got Mitchell coming at me. All right, Luke and the Pop-Tart. Mitchell doing good, not wasting too much time after losing the back, trying to come up to top position. Luke with the ragdoll. Cooper and Emery over there. Benjamin with Jordan. Emery, it looks like you're trying to make some progress on your closed guard. So you're really using your knees, trying to pull Cooper forward, trying to redirect arms. That looks good. Like I said to you earlier, it's not always going to be easy, but that's good. Looked like he came up for a hip bump sweep attempt. Austin trying to get an arm around Luke's neck. Max and Mike. Mike on the shot. Look at that head control from Max, trying to keep him from trying to keep Mike from cutting the angle. Max just got down to his butt and Mike was able to come up. That was some good defending up until that point from Max. But let's see, he's got Mike caught in a triangle here. Mike taking a pause, getting his posture back. Nice, addressing the triangle before it goes too far. Mitchell here. Oh yeah, I had a sweet wrist lock. Watch this. Grab his wrist. Slap it down. Up. We having our barbecue. Did it come out? It did. Sweet. May 17th, 2 p.m. Saturday. Mark your calendars. Be at the school. Gonna get our feast on. Yeah, dude. 17th. God. Excellent. Can't wait. That'll be a lot of fun. Always have a good time with that. Jordan coming up. Just about gets that sweep. You can hear crossface. Been adjusted to that very nicely with the leg entrance. Like, Jordan, you just about have this. But you're in half guard, and then now Ben's like, I'll just scoot my hips back. Try to send over a reap. Not that he can attack with that left arm anyway, but... Excellent. Better be there, Emery. Cash prize giveaway. Do you have to be there to get the cash prize? It's like Mike snagged himself a guillotine after all that. All right, so let's see. Mike passing from half guard, or looking to pass. Locks up the guillotine. Max starts to address it, and Mike goes, you know what? I don't even really need to pass now. I think I'll just take this guillotine home. You can see Mike cranking that elbow down towards his hips. Well, best of luck to everybody who goes to Jordan's barbecue. I will not be there. I will be with the school. I hope Austin brings some wild berry Pop-Tarts. Next week's position, we move on to half guard. Which, there are so many things you could do in half guard. Like, it has a lot of different branches, right, where it can go. But it's really good for people of any size. So yeah, be there, dude. I don't even want to know what you had to do to get Craig Jones to come to your barbecue. I'm sure he'll post about it. Giving out black belts, yeah. Trying to hit some, I tried to hit a wrist snap on Sophie here. Just as a last minute thing. Like right here, and then I try to pass the arm by. But I gotta show her that move. Or she probably already knows it, but I'm gonna hit it on her. Did you guys see Craig Jones' tattoo that he got? His new tattoo? Or the 2 on his feet, on the bottom of his feet. Looks absolutely awful. Like, I would just want to have a wheelchair ready for like the next week or 2 if I got tattoos on the bottom of my feet. Emre coming with the Karen tactics. Trying to chase down the back here. Sophie's done a good job to turn towards me and hide the back. Now settling into a top guard, or a top pin rather. She tries to guard. Luke weighing down Max over there, breaking his posture down, making a quick go behind to the back. Notice how much control I'm employing to keep Sophie pinned here. And notice where I'm doing it. It's at the hips, right? So I have this in behind the hips, driving my shoulder forward this way. She's extremely good. We've all seen it or experienced it when she trains with us about getting the hips up. She does a great job switching the legs, switching the hips, getting her knees to the ground and getting the hips up. This is how you deal with that, right? You have to really focus on the hip control. Here I'm working from a north-south position, so I have a little bit of influence on the shoulders as well, but that drive on the hip to keep her down. Otherwise, she would come up, turtle up, and I'd have to break down turtle or whatever, you know, or she would most likely she would just like stand and get back to wrestling. Like she did right there. Finishes the single with the double. All right, Mike, looking to beat up Ben. Got him. Headshot. Mike now on the back, trying to set up the body triangle. I think this is where I try to start hitting banana splits. Dude, Emery's even using the custom emojis against you, Jordan. I don't even think he knows where the thumb emoji comes from. That is Joe Baker's real dislocated thumb. Hyper pixelated, but so yeah, let me see how she stops this, because this was stupid. So she grabs her own foot here. I don't have the lockdown, which is probably the biggest problem here. But I set it up later with the lockdown. Look at it when that happens. For Gushing Heidi's. So there I get back to it. Now I'm trying to forcibly set up my lockdown. And then she goes on to grab the ankle again. James, we need to find out if there's a gaping hole in the banana split finishing mechanics by just grabbing the ankle. Got to get to the bottom of this. But there I mean, at this point, she started to turn her knee towards me. The lockdown isn't working effectively. She did say that it was putting a lot of pressure, like knee bar pressure on at one point. But I don't want a knee bar. So with 30 seconds left, I have to find myself there again. Try to get it. Mike, meanwhile, setting up. I thought he had a triangle. One more time. Trying to hit the roll through. Again, no lockdown, so probably not going to work. Fine. TikTok brain rot. Tried to get her to ride the lightning last week. It doesn't work on the ladies. We'll see. It's a hip attack. That's why I believe it'll work. So here, more arm drag stuff, James. You can kind of check out what I'm doing. So fighting out of the grip here, coming out of that front headlock. As soon as the grip on the wrist goes below the shoulder, set up my arm drag, grabbing nice and high. And all I'm doing, like, I think here's the biggest thing. Like, we think arm drag is like, I grab your arm and I rip you by. Like, I am, you know, Mortal Kombat, Scorpion, get over here, I'm pulling you by. When really, like, I am much more, these days, moving myself around my opponent and restricting their ability to turn towards me. So, with this, look at my footwork too. Take that big step, but I'm just turning around, like my chest like pivots around the tricep. I find the waist and I drag them down to the mat. That's how most of my arm drags have gone lately since they've gotten better. Unfortunately, I don't think I do much with this one anyway, but I at least got the fight down to the ground. Start looking for a spladle just because, but Mike won't let me have it. Plus, if it didn't work on the ladies, she wouldn't have so drastically defended it and tried to get away from it in the parking lot. Now that's all I hear. Dude, that was like ubiquitous, man, in our childhood. Get over here. I mean, that's I don't hear it anymore because I can't get OBS to work with me, but I think that's what happens on a follow. There are like 4 different sounds that I use for the follows. I think that's one of them. had an inside heel hook on Mike, but I wanted him to work out of it. Luke doing some funky stuff here. Is this just like a weird omoplata? What in the hell? Yeah, I mean, it's omoplata, but Mitchell's like on his back. I'm curious if he turns this into like a strangle, because it looks like he's pulling against the neck. I don't know what's being attacked here. I wish Luke was watching so he could answer, but this is interesting. Luke, if you watch this, let me know what you think this was. If it was a strangle with your shin on one side and hands on the other, or if it was enough shoulder pressure. How did I come up from that? So from turtling up, Mike really putting a lot of pressure on my head. I guess I just felt good enough that his hips were over my head. Like they were over enough of my head that I felt I could come up and run this down. Normally, you're not going to see me doing that. Oh, yeah, and then I end up here for approximately the next 2 minutes. So Mike has me in a reverse triangle, but he's a little too behind me. With the reverse triangle, to really get the strangle... Let me think about this. Is he in a reverse? Yeah. Yeah, he is. So to really get the strangle on this, like, you actually... I see it work better from more of a north-south position than this, like, inverted back kind of position, right? He's doing great here by starting to attack the legs. I think we've all experienced this when Danny has had us here. If he doesn't get the strangle on this, he has an excellent amount of control over the head and shoulders, so he can then start attacking the legs. I'm just trying to run second leg interference on anything he does. And then now he starts digging on my right arm, looking for probably Kimura. So I'm doing everything I can to try to keep my hand hidden. What's going on with Austin over there? Austin playing his game on the triangle with Emre. Okay. So yeah, Mike and I talk about this afterwards, after this round, about how to turn this into a more effective strangle. But it really involves us getting more closer to the north-south position. And I think his legs are also... This is almost like a wrong way reverse triangle, if I'm thinking about it correctly. Oh, you know, this is a side triangle, but I'm not on my back. It's like if you put me in a side triangle and I did a backwards roll. That's what this is. So that's why it was a little different from a typical reverse triangle. Getting real down into the nitty-gritty details on that kind of took me a second, but yeah. If you're interested in triangles, it's good stuff to know. Coop attacking that left arm. And Bit saying, please God, no. So I'm looking for a body lock pass here. Mike's doing a great job getting the hips out to the side. Making me rethink everything. And there we go. Ending the round strong. Ending the night strong. Hope you guys learned something from that. There was a lot of really good technical rolling there. Oops. Turn off Mikey Mike. I think I've given you guys a lot to think about and practice and talk about. So hit me up at class. As always, you guys know we're happy to go over any of the stuff you see on stream. Thank you, James. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that follow button if you're lurking. Hit that subscribe button if you're liking. Subscribe at YouTube as well, where you guys can watch this later for review. May 10th coming up. We have our competition in Hickory. So if you're competing, you should be pretty damn near, feeling good and ready. If you're gonna go watch, it's always appreciated. So hope you guys can get out there. Thank you, Emery. Appreciate you, bro. And then moving on to half guard next week, we've got, that's tomorrow, right? It's Sunday. So half guard tomorrow. Peters will be teaching, I believe. I'll probably see you guys up there. So go trim your nails and do your laundry and don't be stinky. We'll see you back at class. Take it easy, guys.